The people whose work I enjoy and who have impressed me have been the people who are very much aware of the structural nature of what they do and will cut away the preconceived ideas and show you that actually these ideas aren't necessarily the only way of doing things. And I think the first example of this that I always cite is Monty Python, because Monty Python would take the structure of a half-an-hour comedy show, and I can vividly remember one episode of Monty Python that began with the end credits and ended with the introduction. And quite often Monty Python would end, and then they would have 3 or 4 spoof news items or things that supposedly introduced the next TV show, which was still part of the show. They were gags. But it was that awareness that what they were doing was actually a TV show, which I found enormously impressive. And I can remember reading Tiger Tiger by Alfred Bester, where he plays with concrete poetry and drops in a few different typefaces here and there, and I can remember being very impressed with that. And so it's this idea that the formal nature of something is not a given. Quite often it's just a cultural assumption. We assume that something has to be the way it is, and that is the form that this given expression has to take. I think that as a graphic designer, what you're always doing is stripping away those assumptions and saying, does it have to be this way? If we do it this way, is that going to, what is that going to communicate? Maybe that novel way of doing things is going to be a much clearer and more precise language that we can use. And plus I think there's a playful nature to stripping things away to their very base ingredients. You begin to talk about the objectness of the object, and I think that when I conceived this book, I very much conceived it in the manner in which the binding is done, the way that the belly band works, the colour of the edge of the pages. All of these have very obvious symbolic connotations to certain people in certain cultures, which I'm playing on. So as a piece of graphic design, it was very much conceived as an object as well as the content of the book as well.